Hi there, this is a piece of audio content that is only available in full over at patreon.com/Elwood City Limits. We wanted to give you a little bit of a preview to show you what you might be missing out on. You can join us for as little as $1 under the pay what you want model at patreon.com/Elwood City Limits and get access to over dozens of hours of content, including every episode of For the Kids, a PBS Kids podcast. We appreciate you listening, whether you're a patron or whether you're listening on the free feed. You're under no obligation to join, and thank you very much for checking out this preview. But if you'd like to know what these episodes and extra content sounds like, here's a little bit of a sneak peek. A good way to explore the world of Homestar for both those who know very well about it and for maybe those who don't know about it is to go through the characters. Often we do the cast, and then we talk about the characters there. But in this case, we already know the cast. Most of it is Matt Chapman, and then Missy is Marzipan. And there's alterations here and there, or guest characters. But I also thought the characters are really what you come here for. There was never really overarching plots. It wasn't plot driven. It was very much character based, almost sketch comedy at times. So I think in going through each of them and trying to explain exactly, like, I didn't even make notes for this part because I figured it would be a collaborative process where you and I try and find the best way to describe all of these characters whose innate patterns and speech and just way of, like, physicality and design are so innate to us that I thought it would be interesting for us to try and describe them each,
and you've really
to people who maybe don't know who they are.
You've hit on something that I was trying to articulate earlier, which is that what's so strange and unique about the Homestar characters is that, like, they feel like they are usually with this type of comedy, it's so based off tropes or established archetypes. And the Homestar characters feel like they're from an alien planet. Like, what the hell is Coach Z supposed to even be? Like, there's no grounding or basis on kind of previous character archetypes the way, like, sitcom humor usually is. And I think that's why their idiosyncrasies are things that, like, everybody, I can tell you've been trying to control yourself, Will, from just doing a Homestar impression this whole time, but everybody's weird manner of speech that's not grounded in any sort of real world counterpart, or their kind of iconic character designs, everything is so unique and creative, and feels so kind of has no comparison outside of Homestar Runner. So yeah, let's do our best to try and run down. I have the Wikipedia list of Homestar characters open. Why don't we start with the man himself?
Homestar Runner. So we'll also do a little bit of a description of him. I feel this is also a good time to say that if you are at all curious about Homestar Runner and you want to, like, just check this out, all of it is available on YouTube for free, as well as its main website. But really, YouTube has every single Homestar cartoon there is. So if any of this sounds good to you, you can jump in right away for free. So Homestar Runner is ostensibly the title character of the show, but he kind of started off as the main character and then just became part of the ensemble once it was realized that there are definitely characters that are more popular than him. I mentioned earlier, there's a bit of this that there's almost an Americana to the references that Homestar Runner makes because, and I found this by watching it again and doing research, a lot of it, the references being made, even the aesthetics of, like, say, the music or where things are happening in the world of Homestar Runner beckons back to, like, 1980s America, which I'm sure is even maybe late 1970s America, which I'm sure has to do with the broader point that I feel that a lot of these characters, or rather this entire world, is like the creation of a child's imagination. And I imagine it's from the young imagination of the Brothers Chaps. And a lot of it probably draws on their experience growing up in 1970s, 1980s America. Homestar, there's a bit of, like, baseball to him because what he's meant to be is a terrific, most folks say I'm a terrific athlete. So he's got a red shirt with a white star on it. He is a white two-legged being with no arms.
No arms.
And he has a blue and red propeller cap and blue shoes. This must be so weird if you've never encountered Homestar before. But essentially, he's the eternal optimist.
Yes, he's very SpongeBob. Like, the closest comparison would be kind of like SpongeBob's outlook, though he's probably a little bit less intelligent than SpongeBob. So, kind of he's an optimist. He kind of always comes out on top. But despite that, he's really, really, like, unintelligent and foolish.
Yes, and as Lucas said, they all have their own unique, not just designs, but ways of speaking. So Homestar has that kind of lisp where he doesn't say always correctly. Wikipedia says a rhotic voice, reminiscent of Elmer Fudd. So I don't know if that sort of voice would necessarily play today, just because have a bit more understanding for people with lisps and speech impediments. But when I use that voice, I'm imitating the character of Homestar Runner. But more popular than Homestar, and what eventually happened that I would say catapulted this into the stratosphere would be Strong Bad.
The secret actual main character of Homestar Runner is Strong Bad. Which, again, the SpongeBob comparisons, I suppose Strong Bad's archetype would be Squidward. Strong Bad is the straight man to Homestar. Homestar's doing wacky antics, ever an optimist. Strong Bad is a pessimist. He was originally intended to be the villain. Like, if you read the original children's book, and they've remade it a couple times as a tune, Strong Bad was originally supposed to just be the villain, the antagonist to Homestar, but he's a lot more relatable, and he's kind of the most normal of all the characters in Homestar's world. So he is a little wrestler man. He's wearing a red luchador mask. He has famous boxing gloves, which he can type with. That's a running joke in the Strong Bad emails, that he can type with boxing gloves on. And that's kind of, like you said, he overtook Homestar in popularity and kind of became the main storytelling device of the show, the website rather, and that's through the Strong Bad email segment. So there's what's called longer tunes, which are the kind of, they could be sketches about anything. That's where the holiday tunes come in. They usually have a wide variety of the Homestar characters. But then there was these shorter tunes called Strong Bad emails that had their own segment on the site. And it's where the Brothers Chaps would field emails from fans, and Strong Bad would kind of read them and respond, and usually like a little sketch would come as a result. And this is where because the Strong Bad emails were a much more regular segment than the tunes, this is where a ton of the storytelling and the lore of Homestar kind of got filled in. And a lot of the famous moments. And also, so Strong Bad's voice, it's like, again, it's not really because he is a luchador, but it's not really a Mexican accent. He's just kind of like, holy crap, I'm Strong Bad. Like, he has this kind of gruff way of speaking.
It definitely started out like a Mexican voice, but then it kind of just flattened out into what is essentially Strong Bad. So yeah, you're right. Very, very gruff. And the SpongeBob Squidward dynamic is not that far off, just perhaps a bit more like openly antagonistic. It's very rare to find Homestar and Strong Bad on the same side of things. Strong Bad has two brothers. Let's start off first with Strong Sad, who is also a punching bag, for, like, literally at times, for Strong Bad. He is not particularly liked by a lot of the rest of the characters, and of course, completely original designs on most of these things. So unlike his brother, Strong Bad, Strong Sad is tall, but also very rotund. He has this white face that almost looks like a dollop of whipped cream and these really beady black eyes. And he has a gray upper body, and his lower half of his body is an elephant's legs, like, for whatever reason. And he talks in this kind of a voice. And he started off as a very one-note character where he's just like, I'm always this sad. And then as he evolved, in my opinion, he became a much better character because he sort of became a stereotypical hipster almost. He really likes college radio. He's a vegetarian. He's just kind of like...
he's kind of goth a little bit. Like there's a little bit of Fern. Like he's writing poetry and stuff like that.
Yeah, very sensitive, but also like does get some funny lines and is often a realist. He's often the one to take the air out of some of the more ridiculous things that usually Strong Bad is doing. And then the other brother is Strong Mad, who is maybe the most humanoid of all the characters, just by the sense of a lot of his design is that like human skin colored, but he's also shaped like a giant square with an angry face on him. He is wearing a singlet because together him and Strong Bad are supposed to be sort of like parodies of wrestlers, and he has these red boots on. And he talks with this kind of voice.
He would probably be the most one-dimensional of the main cast. Like, Strong Bad is kind of just like a Chewbacca-esque. Like, he's there to be the muscle, and he just kind of yells.
And he's less intelligent. Whenever we see a little bit of his whatever internality that he has, like whatever interior life that he has, it's very simple. It's very childlike almost. And very, very simple. He's very loud. He's very strong. And that's about it. And then, of course, one of the other parts of Strong Bad's popularity is, I feel at least, he was a vessel towards introducing the Cheat as a character.
Yes. The Cheat. So the Cheat was Strong Bad's right-hand man, his partner in crime. This is a through line from the original children's book, that like the Cheat was kind of helping Strong Bad win the like grape carrying contest, the original children's books about who could hold the most grapes. And the thing about the Cheat is, again, the nature of these characters kind of changes as Homestar. It existed over 10 years, and so they kind of start one way and end up another. We'll talk about that again when we talk about Pom Pom. But the Cheat basically started as like Strong Bad's little buddy, his henchman who doesn't really talk and just squeaks and is cute.
Yeah,
and then
like
it was kind of
like his Muttley.
Yeah. And then it was later kind of revealed that the Cheat might be actually smarter than Strong Bad, and he kind of knows what's going on better than Strong Bad does, and he has his own kind of motivations as well. There's also, the Cheat has his own show called the Cheat Commandos, which is a G.I. Joe parody. And every character is the Cheat in Cheat Commandos.
Yeah, because the Cheat is essentially its own kind of animal, and it's always the Cheat. I remember that was something that I had to bend my brain around as a younger kid of like, so okay, wait, his name isn't Cheat, it's the Cheat. And that's his full name. That's how you it's like, let's go, the Cheat. And he looks like this little yellow with black spots. He almost looks like a Neopet, especially with this kind of like, he's just this yellow, almost like upright dog sort of thing with a big, like, sharp nose. It's a really unique and design you don't see much other places. And he has his own language that sometimes they subtitle, but he's just like, like, that's just basically what he sounds like. And he also does his own this is one of my favorite things. But he does his own version of the Homestar show, which is within Flash animation. The Brothers Chap's essentially creating bad Flash animation, which I love it so much. Okay, that's going to do it for now. But we will see you next time on Elwood City Limits, or at patreon.com/ElwoodCityLimits if you decide to join us. Thank you very much, and have a great week.